Okay, we are here with Sally on the phone. Sally, can you hear me?
I can. Hello.
I am
How are
so
you?
I am so excited to talk about this next picture. I mean, this next subject matter because I'm just getting excited just thinking about it. And Sally, I think that you should be the one to introduce the subject matter.
Well, I think the topic tonight's going to be: do men actually think women like dick pics? What do you think about that subject?
Could you say that a little slower?
I said, do men actually think women like dick pics?
Okay, so just to be clear, the subject matter is, do men actually think that women like dick pics? So,
Receiving them.
so receiving them. So there's a lot of feedback that is kind of out there on the infamous dick pic. I think that there's a lot of different aspects to cover about this. I think it matters whether or not you're in a relationship or not. That's completely different boundaries. But let's talk about, there's a lot of feedback going on around there from women's perspective about getting a dick pic out of the blue from a man or someone they start talking to. It's about really like either you just got each other's number or you've not done anything physical. You're just talking to a man that you just met, or a boy for that matter. That might be the more appropriate term, actually, a boy. um, because I don't know. I don't think that it's too bold to say that most women are really managing that. Like if a woman kind of likes a guy and he sends a dick pic out of the blue, it's not usually because a woman is trying to get him to. It's because it's like when you get somebody a gift, it's usually the type of gift that you think you would appreciate getting yourself. Do you know what I'm saying, Sally?
Yes, I do.
Like it's like, oh, I got you these mm, pictures of flowers because that's what I like is pictures of flowers, but it's not necessarily what you really like, right? It's like we
Mm-hmm.
tend to give people what we value the most, if we're trying to get a gift. And I think that guys, being very visual, they are trying to guys want pictures. They want pictures. They send you, hey, can I get a pic? Or they're trying to get a pic out of you. And I think that what they're basically doing when they send a dick pic, usually prematurely, it's not because a woman was like, hey, send me a dick pic. I just and from a lot of women that I've been listening to, they're getting it out of the blue, and they're like, what are you thinking? I mean, if anything, in fact, there's a quote. I wish we would have like found it. I recently posted. I wish we would have pulled it up, but it's basically about uh, basically telling a man like tease her mentally and emotionally and verbally, and I don't mean sexually, but I mean like make her practically like want you to take your clothes off. Like don't even touch her. Don't even think about touching her until you drive her absolutely crazy mentally. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
and if men would just slow the hell down and be more patient, like the lion in the woods. He don't run off into the woods all crazy and scare off all of the stuff he wants to eat. He sits there on the side because he's smart. And he's found based upon history that if you run after him, that you're going to chase him off. I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to get a little um, ventful, if you will, because it's really mind blowing. And I'm picking up on a lot of feedback from women out there too that they're just as flabbergasted. So this is really primarily, if we as women were to ask the general question to men, it would be just out of sheer curiosity, how often is that really working for you? So let's say a man prematurely sends a dick pic, um, and a woman is like, okay, buzzkill, but he's hoping to get a sexy picture from her. If she really, really likes you, she's just kind of trying to deal with the fact that you just prematurely sent her just a full blown dick pic. You know, and it's like, okay, thanks a lot. You know, like, all right. And it also says something about you as a man. You know, it's like, okay, so you just go around sending dick pics kind of like when you haven't even gotten physical with a woman yet. That's real classy. You know, believe it or not, I mean, are you trying to get a classy woman? Does it even matter to you whether or not she's classy? I mean, if it's like mm, fishing with the certain kinds of bait. You know, I mean, if you're just looking for some, even if you're just wanting to just hit it and quit it with a woman that you met a girl or a woman and I just lost Sally. If you're just wanting to hit it and quit it with a woman and you're hoping to get something. Okay, I think we left off on the topic of even if as a man you're using a because men typically want photos. Hey, send me a pic. They want something sexy. And because they're not patient enough, they'll send a dick pic kind of prematurely. And you know, like I was saying, if you're it depends depending on what kind of woman you're trying to get. You know, like if you're trying to get a woman that's you know, okay, you're sexually attracted to her, but you don't really care if it's hit it and quit it or a booty call kind of situation, then you got nothing to lose. Go ahead and send it to her. You know what I mean? But the flabbergasting thing I think from most women is like, man, you already got my number. I'm talking to you. And if you were just patient enough to get to know me a little bit better or I get to know you a little bit better, I'm probably going to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? But if you just like
Uh-huh.
bust out with that, you're basically being retarded because you're not being patient enough to be like the lion who's cleverly stalking its prey. You know, and it's a turnoff from a lot of different perspectives from women and girls too. But any woman of substance or a girl of substance, you know, is that's not going to work. You're fishing with the wrong bait. You know, and so the first question is women don't get it. Girls ain't getting it. It's like what are you thinking other than not? There's a quote that goes, I can tell how intelligent a man is by how unintelligent he thinks I am. Or I can tell how stupid a man is by how stupid he thinks I am. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, really? Like, wow, all right. So I guess the first question, if guys would like to give some girls some feedback here, is does that ever really work for you? You know? And if all you're trying to get is something sexual out of it, then if a woman likes you enough, she might just deal with that, kind of overlook it a little bit like a flaw, you know, like oh god, you know, but I really like him. Maybe I can just kind of overlook that he's premature and a little retarded, but I do still like him. So, you know, it's just that his timing sucks. You know, it's just it's so immature. It's like it shows that you don't have patience. It shows that you're not smart enough to read the timing of things. It shows that you don't value yourself enough to like, well, what are you desperate? You know, what are you desperate? You're already talking to her. If you want her like that and if you want something physical from her, at least be smart enough to wait a little while or wait till the timing is obvious. Let a woman throw herself at you first. You know, I mean, I'm sure women do. I'm sure there are those types, but that's not the scenario that we're talking about here. Women women will lead with some sexiness and some sexuality. I'm sure that's out there. But it's like I think that just as it does show you what kind of woman you might be dealing with, it also shows what kind of guy you're dealing with too. So it does go both ways, but we're not getting a lot of feedback from guys about, "Oh my god, women, would you stop sending me titty pictures and vaginal
Right.
pictures?"
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You know, we're not getting
Yeah.
these complaints out here, you know. So anyway, did you happen to find that one quote?
No, I'm not yet.
Okay. Did you have any other feedback or any other things you think I'm not hitting here?
I think that it's interesting to know or to note when this started. This mm, you know, ease of sending dick pics in society. When did that begin?
at the
You know?
turn of the century in 2014, dick pics were born, and there does seem to be an explosion of dick pics across the nation, and all pun intended, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
it is interesting. I mean, this, send me the ease of it all. I think some of what's happening is that with cameras on phones, everybody having an Android now, everybody having better quality photos on their phone is inspiring. Well, and also too, there's the aspect of it's the same thing like if you're in a car. We were talking about that before. We haven't gotten into a clip on road rage or anything yet, but if you're driving in a car, people are much more comfortable being assholes in their cars, right? They're
Right.
much more comfortable just being straight from the hip and not sugarcoating anything. You don't need to be extra kind in your car because you're hiding behind it. And I think whether it be what you're saying in your phone or whether it be what you're taking pictures and sending in your phone, there is a comfort there that you're hiding behind. There's a security that you're hiding behind. In a phone, it gives you time to stall. It gives you time to make up excuses about why you're not responding in time. It's safer. It's safer. It's like a phone has become an emotional condom. Where people don't have to be as concerned. But it is really mind blowing how comfortable. I just think on behalf of many women across the world, women, including myself, just want to know what the hell are you thinking? What are you doing? I these are unsolicited situations. I mean, I could even see if it was something like, hey, we've been talking for a couple of weeks and or months, probably that might be a bit hasty now, not hasty, but long nowadays. And you get to the point where it's like, oh, this is what I'm wearing to bed, or, you send somebody, you're sending some pictures back and forth first in just some basic ways. Like, hey, I'm at the store, or I'm getting ready to go to bed. Here's, cute little smile before I go to bed, and thinking of you, and you wish you were here. And these are flirty things. They're flirty things. They're appropriate for the stage of getting to know somebody. But things that are just out of the blue and overt are just mind-blowingly unconscious. Like, how unconscious do you have to be to think the timing of that is appropriate? And even, babes, even moral set aside, even if you want to set aside the moral aspect of it, the appropriateness of it is like, it's almost like on the dance floor when somebody asks you to dance and you've just got someplace and somebody comes up to you and they've already been dancing and they're already sweaty. It's like, no, that's just gross. Like, would you wait for me to catch up with you? Or it's like you're in the car and you just take off and floor it and there's no passenger in the seat yet. It's like, I'm sorry, didn't you want me to come with you? Shouldn't you wait till I'm actually in? Should you even look to see if I'm in the car? It shows a complete lack of observational skills, a complete ignorance of timing, a complete lack of perception. It's so unperceptive. It's presumptuous. It's borderline insulting intelligence. And it's just statistically, I guess that's the biggest thing that comes to my mind is like, how often is that really working for you? And let's not mistake a woman liking you so much that she's willing to look at it like that's kind of a flaw. And I like you so much that I'm just kind of maybe gonna kind of deal with it a little bit longer until I catch up with you. Like, oh God, I wish he hadn't done that. But I do kind of like him, so let me just, wait a little bit longer and hold him off. Kind of like how men can kind of, even in person, make advances towards you when you're not really ready. Like, okay, that happens, and that's stupid too, in my opinion. I mean, a big dating advice, in my opinion, is men in general just need to slow the hell down, man. Like, what are you, desperate? rub one out before you go on a date. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's kind of old fashioned, right? That's kind of old
Yeah.
fashioned advice. You know, but it still works. It's like, oh, just get yourself together, you desperate horn dog. I mean, I think that having healthy sexual hormones is a beautiful and a normal thing. But when you don't have some kind of class about yourself, it just becomes animalistic. And I think that there is a time to be animalistic. And animalism sexually can be an incredible point in a situation. Do you know when you work your way up to that? It's like, do you want something marinated? Do you ever eat something marinated versus just like buy it and put it right in the pan? You know, you
Uh-huh.
buy something and you put it right in the pan, you know, okay, it's not necessarily horrible. But once you've had something marinated, you know, something that's in the pan is just like, man, you know, like if I'm desperate maybe or, you know, whatever. But I think a lot of people are looking for something quality, and the fact that you're not willing to marinate something and find out what you're working with sooner than before you put yourself out there. You know, it says something about who you think you're dealing with is, and it says something about who you are. You know, are you a connoisseur of quality or are you just a dick pic kind of guy? You know, so it's like if you're fishing with dick pics, you know, and you happen to get something out of it, then you just want a kind of girl that's just going to give it to you like that. And maybe that's good for you. But there's a sleuth of women out there that men say they want. I want an intelligent woman. I want a classy woman who's got her shit together, you know. And it's like if you do, then don't be giving no dick pics. Make her want it. That would be refreshing. Jesus, did you ever think of that? Yeah, you know, be different for God's sake. You know, where's the men with class out there? Where's the men out there that say they want a classy woman? You know, I mean, anyway, I think that's, you know, on behalf of many women across the world and the nation, I'm kind of speaking up for them a little bit with that. And furthermore, one of the quotes we were trying to find that I came across before, I wish we could find it now, but basically it's a little quote and it's addressed to men that says, by the way, guys, no, we don't want to see a dick pic. And if a woman asked you for a dick pic, no, she didn't ask you for a dick pic. Like for the guys that might say, well, what if she asked for a dick pic? No, first of all, she didn't. She ain't gonna. So stop it. There are no scenarios like that out there. You know, I mean, you know, we're not talking about, you know, if you're in a relationship, that's just different, man. You've crossed the lines already. You know what I mean? But I mean, anytime you get to moving around and dancing without your partner there, it's just like, it's like, it's like mutual masturbation. It doesn't even matter who's at the other end. You know, that's just like that ain't about connection. I mean, it's just not. And I think that's like having a hamburger and when you can have a fillet, you know, and maybe you at the hamburger mode, you know, and you just send dick pics because you at the hamburger mode. And how can you crave something you never tasted, you know? So I guess there's a lot of men out there that never tasted a fillet and they still working on the hamburger levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You little White
I
Castle
get.
mugs.
Mm.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I agree with everything you're saying, and I appreciate the perspective. And I um, I think it's a wrap.
Okay, so well, I would love to hear some feedback. Any feedback from men about this? Any feedback from women about this? If you felt like I should have covered some other aspects, or guys, if you have some kind of defense about it, you know, mind you, if you do have a response, you know, we're really not addressing that. You know, there's a woman out there, or women out there, or girls out there that were down with it, you know. And hey, if you got a lot of statistics on women that do want to, you know, hit it with some bait like that, you know, okay, cool, then, you know, one in your cap. But I just would be flabbergasted if the majority just, all right, how about this? Why don't you give the women some help and explain to them why you do it? Because women want to know, what are you thinking? Women want to know, what are you thinking with that, and is that successful for you? Because there's a lot of women out there that are just like, where did this come from? It's out of the blue. So Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and Life Coach group page on Facebook, and we'll talk to you soon.